Hi, I'm Marilyn San Clemente of Stamp with Marilyn, and welcome to my creative playground. I had a great Zoom class on Friday and Thursday, and we did accordion fold cards. And then I am setting up my next Zoom class so the following Thursday, a week and a half, 10 days out, is the 9th, and I will be doing this really cute gatefold pop-up card. And this card's really cute. You could put a message in the middle if you want. You don't have to put a message in the middle, but there's so much that you can do with this, and it stands like this. So it looks like that, and it's actually not super difficult to make, but I thought it looked like a lot of fun. So I used the Country Floral Designer paper. You can use any paper that you want to make this card. Oops. And I made the belly band a little bit too tight. There we go. There it goes. Okay, so that is my next class, and that is on Thursday, February 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, okay, today I wanted to talk to you about making background designs, and there's lots of different things that you can do, and I like shabby chic type cards, and we actually have some paper right now, some designer paper. It's called Textured Chic, and it has a shabby chic background, pre-made, that you don't have to make. So that lets you, you can just use that and start with that. But it's really pretty paper, and I'm going to show you some ideas with that, but I'm also going to add a little bit more to it as well. And so this is considered a shabby chic background. Something like this, where you've got just a lot of different colors meshed together, and then a design that it kind of shows on top of it. So that would be considered shabby chic. And what I did was I grabbed pieces and parts of about 7 different stamp sets. So tonight I'm going to talk about shabby chic backgrounds. And to make a shabby chic background, what you want to do is you can use pretty much any color of paper, and depending upon what color of paper you're using, you can use different colors of ink as well. And what I did was I combined, you take generic design types of things. So for example, this piece of wood comes out of one of the beach sets from last year, and you can use that to make a shabby chic design. I used that to do this one. And then I used this dried plant with it. I don't know what to call it. And then there's also ferns. You can use ferns. You can use anything. You can use flowers. I've got some flowers here that I used. You can use butterflies. I've got bees. And then you can use like some of those dotted backgrounds, spotted backgrounds, to do a shabby chic, to make a shabby chic. So this one is on a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I stamped that with crumb cake ink. And what I did was I stamped off so that you're getting just a really light background to that. And this one I did on Sahara sand, and as you can tell, I used the butterfly. I used this spotted background, and I used the fern. This one I did on Very Vanilla, and I used Blushing Bride. And so again, I used the dried, I don't know what to call it, the dried background. I did use the spotted background again, but you really can't see too much of it. And I think that's all I did. And then I think I also sponged a little bit too. This one I did on Blushing Bride, and I used that background. I used the flowers. I've got the bees in here. I don't think I have a butterfly. And then this one I did, this is on watercolor paper. So I stamped the fern, and I stamped this background, and then I spritzed it. So let me show you how to do a couple of these. We'll do one, and then we'll make a couple of cards. So what I did was, this is Sahara sand, I'm going to take Sahara Sand ink. And I have a piece of scrap paper over here. And what I'm going to do, and I've got Sahara Sand, but what I want to do, you want the background to be very light because you don't want the background is just kind of there to make the card look older. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp a couple of times, and as you can see, I get a very light design on that. So I'm just going to do that, and you're just going to randomly stamp. And really what you're doing is you want to put texture on your card. You also could use colors on this as well too, if you wanted to. You really want to use light colors. You don't want to use dark colors. And the reason why is you're just adding texture to the background and adding some dimension. Okay. So now let's do some of this. So I do have a piece of scrap paper over here on my right that I'm stamping off on before I stamp on the background. Okay, and let's use the fern. And it kind of makes this light, kind of fun color. Then another thing that you can do with this is you can use a sponge and get some ink on the sponge, and then you can kind of blot it a little bit too. And I'm going to go to a different color. You can also do some edging with it. Okay, so I've got my crumb cake ink here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of blotting. And you see I'm kind of coloring in the background, but I'm not putting a lot on. And then one of the other things that you can do is you can also kind of score the edge of the paper like this. So you get a rough edge almost, or you can tear the edge as well. Oof. I have not done this technique in a long, long time. We used to have a scoring tool that would do this, that would take paper and kind of rough up the edge. But we don't offer that anymore, and I'm not sure what happened to mine. I had it around. I was looking for it earlier, and I couldn't find it. But I just think that that's a cool look, too. And then the other thing that people do, there we go. That gives it kind of a cool look as well. The other thing that people do is they often tear around the edge, and the best way to do that is to kind of take your nail and just pull up, because you want to get this kind of rough layered look around the edge. So kind of like that. And then you can also take your sponge and you can highlight that edge. Which is cool too. There's a few different things that you can do with this effect. Okay, that's how you can add a shabby chic background to a piece of paper. And then let me show you, this is the watercolor paper. So I'm going to stamp a little bit on that. And again, I'm stamping off because I don't want the full image. And if you know the Sun Prints paper, which is one that I really like, that has the watercolor type background, but it's on a color. And I'm going to show you also, I'm going to spritz this. Since this is watercolor paper, you can spritz this. And I have a little spray bottle full of water. So I'm just going to dampen this. And it will run a bit. And then it will dry. And then that's how, oh, I turned it, it's on the other side. Anyway, we'll let that dry for a few minutes. And then I can show you. So that's another cool look too. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to distress paper and get that quote-unquote shabby chic look that that people seem to like. So what I thought I would do is I have a piece of cardstock here. I have a background. This is a crumb cake background. I have a very vanilla piece, and then I have a layer of the Shabby Chic paper. And I was going to use another layer of this. So let me cut this down. 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. Okay, that should do it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that distressing of that. So I'm just going to take my scissors. Whoops. There we go. And if you have really good eyesight, you can see that I'm creating a lot of dust here. Cardstock dust. The other thing that a lot of people do, but it's harder to do with cardstock than it is with just regular paper. A lot of people will distress regular paper, and they'll use either coffee and kind of paint it and then let it dry, and it gives it an antique look, or they'll use tea, and same thing, they'll let it dry and give it an antique look. And you can even bake it. Some people bake it on cookie sheets in their oven. But regular paper, as you can see, I've got a lot of dust now. Regular paper, you can also scrunch up and then uncrumble and to kind of fold it. There we go. Okay, so I've done this kind of raggedy edge. So let's put this together. Does that work? Yeah, that does work. All right. Let's put this together. And usually something that Shabby Chic uses, it will use a fun floral design, or it uses a combination of flowers and a lot of times ribbon. It may have scraps of fabric as well. Now there's a good Shabby Chic design. Okay, and I'm going to put this on. So what I'm going to do is I used Blessings of Home. Country Home was the name of the suite that it came from. So I have these really pretty flowers that I've cut out. And I also did a lot of cutting today. Okay, so I cut out some of the flowers, and then I cut out some greens from the Dainty Delight set. and I cut them out in white and green. So what I'm going to do is kind of lay this out. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll add some of the white flowers underneath, or some white not flowers, white greens. I wanted to get a lot of different colors in here. I don't think that I need two. I've got this from the Dainty Delights set. And I have these. So I just used a lot of different flowers. I have these designs here. Actually, I don't think we need that. I think that would be good. And then we can put this on top. Sometimes shabby chic things will actually look like they're too crowded at times. So, but that's part of making it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct this, and I'm going to put my pieces on. So I have glue dots here. And now I'm going to add this on top. Ooh. Maybe what I need to do is pull this off a little bit. Okay, now you can see some of the flowers and things. Okay, so I'm going to put that on. And then if you wanted to, you could color this and add a couple of more flowers in, but I'm not sure if I want to do that. That's a lot. That's a lot of flowers. And then this should be our focal image. So I'm going to put that on dimensionals. Okay, so that will go like that. Oops. Oh my gosh, I'm covered in dust. So here's what our paper looked like that we spritzed. So look at the colors that came out of that. The some of the pinks came out of that brown, which was really cool. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of Blushing Bride here. A lot of times shabby chic things are also monochromatic. They're not necessarily colored in. So I just want to give this just a little bit of color so it stands out, but not too much. So I'm just kind of highlighting the outline of the flowers. I don't want to lose the image of it. So with the blender pen, when it runs clear like it is now, then it's clean, but it does stain the tip. The inks do stain the tips of the pen. So, okay. Oh, I didn't realize I'm so far over. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So all I did was just highlight the flower a little bit because I want that to stand out. That's the focal point. And then I'm going to find a message that I want to use. I'm almost out of dimensionals. Oh my gosh. The world's going to end. Okay, and now let's add some pretty, we've got these elegant faceted gems, and I like these. I think they're Blushing Bride, but I'm not, they have that Blushing Bride color to them. So let's put a couple of those on. The other thing that Shabby Chic cards have a lot of, usually, is ribbon as well. Okay. And a lot of times they use a lace. But what I should have done was put that around the bottom. I should have put that on first before I put this layer on. I didn't think about it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is put a dimensional on the back of this, or two. Feed this under. Feed that over. Okay. This is what I get for forgetting that I had the ribbon. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up just a little bit, just that layer. Okay. And I can do that. And then let me put a lot more adhesive on this. Okay, there we go. There, that works. And now we'll put this back on. And there we go. There is our Shabby Chic, or one Shabby Chic card. You can also use some of the designer papers and add kind of a Shabby Chic background as well. And so with this, I'm going to start with a card base of white. I'm just going to fold my card in half here. So that's 8.5 by 5.5. So what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more depth to this. What I really like about this paper is it looks like it was stamped and colored or painted onto watercolor paper, and then they photographed it. So this paper has a lot of dimension to it. But what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to take that Blushing Bride ink pad, and I'm just going to add a little bit more color to this, to the background. Ooh, got some streaks there. Okay, so we'll add some streaks other places too, so it looks like it's supposed to be there. I have a piece of rich raspberry. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So the rich raspberry is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I love the back of this paper too. And now what I was going to try to do was put it on here. I do have a piece of Blushing Bride, but it hasn't been distressed. So let's distress this one a little bit. So what I want is, I'm going to make it a little bit extra wide. And then I'm going to tear it down a little bit. And hopefully I don't lose too much. So I'm very carefully, what I'm doing is I'm using my fingernail and I'm just kind of walking it along here. And I'm just tearing that one edge off. There we go. Okay, let's see how that fits. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, I'm going back to my crumb cake ink pad. I am going to take my sponge. You can also use a dauber. There's a lot of different things that you can use on this. You could use one of the blending brushes as well. There we go. Okay. And then let's do this. Let's take the scissors. There we go. You want to kind of go and do the other side. If I tear that other side, then I won't have enough cardstock to show through on the underneath. You know, it won't give me enough of a layer, and I want a little bit of a layer, so. There we go. So again, I have cardstock dust. Okay, so now let's put this on like that. Oh, I like that. Very nice. It's actually going to hang over maybe a little bit too much. There we go. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of different pieces that I stamped with this set. Okay, so let's put this here. And then let's color these. This is the dark old olive, light old olive. And I'm going to use some of the colors. Let's see. This is mango, light mango, daffodil. Yep, daffodil. Let's pull some of the pinks. Which one is this? This is light raspberry. And let's get a pink in there too. That's flirty flamingo. That's good. I'm using my light old olive and I'm just going to trace the stems. Okay, so now we can assemble. go. And let's do a little ribbon. I like this linen. I don't think that this is current anymore, but I do really like this linen. And actually you could dye this linen any color that you want with just a couple drops of re-inker, or by using a blends and kind of coloring it also. Scissors, where are you? I'm going to put a couple glue dots on here. And we'll put the ribbon down. Okay, there we go. It hangs a little bit off, but that's okay. And I'm just going to color this, highlight the stems. There we go. There's our card. And I want to add, I love these iridescent pearls. I'm going to add a few of these to the front. Okay. Oops. There we go. There's our two cards and our Shabby Chic Backgrounds. So, I'll take a picture of the Shabby Chic Backgrounds, and there's our two cards as well. So, thank you for stopping by tonight. If you're not on my mailing list, go out to stampwithmarilyn.com and sign up for my mailing list. And my newsletter will be going out. We'll send it out Wednesday, and I'll have information to register for next week's class. So, thanks again. Have a great evening, and take care.